Welcome back to the Mid-Year Mitch YouTube channel. In today's episode, I'm gluing the roof on the Scalped Split and doing the finished fiberglass work to get this thing done. So be sure to stick around. I did a lot of work off camera to get these gutters to fit. Just took a little bit of trimming on either end just to get it to fit the opening properly. Took it over to the stretcher, just tapped it just a little bit to get it to flow a little better to clear the door opening. So I installed the gutter on the driver and passenger side. Took a little bit of manipulation in these corners here to get it to flow. And I just ran a solid bead across here to help blend all this together, make it a little smooth. I just need to grind down all the welds, get everything blended together. I have the rear deck off, the Scalped Split. I was doing a little bit of work to the driver door, putting the cap back on, and I'm doing a little bit of filling with some bonding adhesive on the birdcage just to build up the bonding strip just to make it fit the roof a little better. So while all that stuff dries, I'm going to start sanding on the roof. So I have the patch done from the top, then I did the patch from the underside, so now I need to sculpt the top because I had some clamps in places. There's some low spots just because of the way it fit. I needed a base to work with, so now we can start to refine it. I did a lot of fiberglassing to try to stretch the roof out just a little bit to make it fit the top of the doors a little better. You know, you might not have to do that on your car if it's all originally one piece, but this roof skin was from a different car, from the doors, from the roof structure, from the rear deck. So everything's slightly trimmed differently. So you put all that together and you have a couple gaps here and there. So I built this edge up a little bit over here, and then I came in here with a little bit of bonding adhesive, which I still need to come back and sand all this smooth, but I built it up just a little bit to get the roof to fit better with the door, and everything's lining up nice. I still need to do the final sand and just maybe one more layer or so of fiberglass to make the roof match the door, but it's close enough now that I can get this thing glued. So the last thing I have to do is attach this bonding strip, which I made. I really like this resin dye because it makes the piece look nice and uniform in color. I still need to scuff it, and then I'll rivet it onto the car. I just put some of my foil tape on the birdcage and just hand laid up this bonding strip because it's kind of a weird shape. So I'll rivet that in place, and then I'll drill a couple holes, which I know is everybody's favorite thing, but I'll drill a couple holes in this bonding strip where it won't matter into what was the quarter panel, and I'll drill into the floor tub here. So that way I can have a locator on this side and on the driver's side so I can quickly get my door gap set up. So I've done a lot of fiberglass work and sanding off camera to get this thing finished up. I did a lot of blending in this area. Had to build this area up just a little bit to match up with the door. I had to extend the roof out to meet the door. I left all these gaps tight so that way the owner can refine them to exactly the gap they want to. They may want to move the door around a little bit. I just left a little meat on it so that way they can finesse it how they want. The bodywork still needs to be gone over to make it ready for paint, but at least it's all roughed in. Took some of the primer off the split just to see what that looked like. Again, this side turned out nice. It's got good workable gaps. This door probably could be brought up a little bit, but overall they both fit pretty well. They have some room for adjustment and they can be worked from there. In the floor, I had a couple little patches to fix. I did some patchwork in the back to bring some of the strength back into this thing. And it's just a pretty solid car. Got the gutters installed. Still have a little bit more sanding to do in the door jambs, but overall, I'm really happy with the way it turned out. Doors turned out good. Rust repaired those. Got the shells put back together. They're nice and solid. The whole body's nice and strong. Before, this thing was a floppy noodle. So the rear deck turned out really nice. The rear reinforcement turned out good. Again, I probably have to do some sanding. But I think to do all the final sanding, I'm gonna pull the body off the chassis and just set it on the floor. That way I can climb around inside, just knock some of the high spots off of it just to make it look a lot more finished. But that's gonna do it for this video. If you enjoyed, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. This is probably the last video you're gonna see on this car. I have one more update video that you'll see this thing, and this thing is heading home very soon. So I got a lot of work to do, and I'll catch you guys later. Really like using this resin dye because once, you know what?